Day is not in, not here because school is out. So if you hear the background noise, that's just the house over the Easter break we're having right here. And Jovan, again, we're just gonna wish her to be in better spirits. And I'm here with better health, yeah. And I'm here with Boogie.
Good afternoon, everyone. Boogie from Harlem.
Do we need to adjust this lighting in here?
I don't know.
Could you adjust that lighting? We're good? Light lady?
You're good to me.
All right. So we are in business. So how have you been? What did you do for Easter? Easter was yesterday.
You know where I was at? We had a nice service, and then I ate, and then I went to sleep.
Boogie, you were supposed to send me the info to the church.
I've been inviting y'all heathens to church how long now? So you get to the
no,
point
but
where
wait
I
a
only
minute.
asked once.
No. I didn't, and our engineer is here. She said, aren't y'all going to the church? I said, I ain't hear nothing.
I told you know I'm in church every Sunday. So I told you, I said, you coming to the church? You said, maybe you should, but you didn't want to be a CME, which means Christmas, Mother's Day, and Easter person. But I said, well, if you want to come, you come. You know where my church is. You've been there.
But I don't have the address.
If you know my
Remember,
address.
I said I was going to come to your address.
Yeah, you know my address, and then you know the church right across the street. So, no excuses. That's the thing. You'll be heathen. But I still love you.
I did nothing. I did nothing yesterday. I laid around, and, I actually cleaned up for once.
That's good.
Yes. I cleaned up, and I just laid around, but we did nothing. So we can get into our visual descripts. Well, I don't even know if we should continue to do this, Boogie. What do you think? Because I'm hearing...
You know I don't like it.
You know?
It's something about it. Like I said, when you describe yourself first, and you'll say, I'm a dark-skinned female, I don't like to have to go after you and say, well, I'm a lighter brown, because what difference does it make? Really, what difference does it make? And it sounds like
I'm a white Maltese.
And it feels like I'm trying to say, oh, well, I'm black, but I'm not as dark as her. And I don't like how it sounds. So,
I think you overthinking that.
Yeah, maybe I am, but when you that one that got to come after the chocolate sister, they say I'm a dark brown, but then I got to come in and say, oh, no, I'm caramel. That's so, it doesn't matter.
I'm a white Maltese that's biting someone, and I'm about to get knuckled up right in front of the camera.
They're getting ready to call Peter on us. Put him down.
He's getting too old for this nipping thing. But
so I could say I'm a black woman and I'm wearing a burgundy walking suit. That's it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stop this. And you know why I am going to stop it? Because I'm hearing more of the sighted community checking out the podcast. Mm-hmm. And, a lot of people are doing this in the interest of accessibility. I don't think we need this.
No.
All right, so let's go. So you got some current events. What in the world? Let's rock with that.
Okay, this is kind of funny to me. I got a weird sense of humor. I want to talk about Mama Tina's gumbo.
Who's that?
Beyonce's mother. Oh, you haven't heard? It's all over the internet.
Oh, maybe we should put that for Backstage BS. Because anytime you put Tina Knowles.
Okay, so we'll hold that. Because I do want to
and lately, the Knowles Carter connection.
Carter, yeah, baby.
It ain't nothing but Backstage BS.
Okay, so we'll save that for Backstage
BS. Yeah. Let's get into what's been going on in the world.
That, right
the Iran stuff is still happening with Trump.
But he just got on TV and made the most disgusting speech. The stuff he says out of his face, where's the decorum?
Wait, about the open up the effing
everything.
Straits of Hamas, or it'll be hell to pay.
Yeah, he done
praise be to Allah. That
mocking their religion. He's just disgusting. It's just gross. Everything he said, I can't even pick out just one thing. Everything he said just now, I can see you giving the report, but he's bragging. We get to fight the planes and we knocked all that.
Are you really telling the truth? Speaking of fake news, and also, isn't fire and brimstone according to Trump supposed to be raining down on Iran tonight?
If they don't open
at
up
8 o'clock
the
and
straits by
change?
a certain time, it's going to rain fire and brimstone. I want to see how he's going to produce that.
It's like we always knew that this man, since even with The Apprentice, that he had this whole God complex, right?
Yep.
But now, because a lot of rich people, especially these rich men, a lot of them do have the God complex.
Especially doctors.
Yes.
Especially a doctor.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I had this doctor tell me, when I was going through all my health stuff, she had the nerve to tell me, how do you know you don't have Lyme disease? How do you know that you weren't bit in Orlando by a deer? You're blind. I said, yeah, Miss Blind, I might be blind, but I'm not slow. Like, I know
what a deer is.
I know what a deer is. I said, Miss, have you ever gone to Orlando? I'm not, like, I wasn't around, I wasn't in the woods. Second of all, I know what a bullseye rash looks like. I know what a Lyme disease rash looks like. You know what this lady did? Took the pin and threw it across the room. I'm the doctor.
Now, I had one doctor, I was getting a medical for work,
Mm-hmm.
and he was examining me, and he said, we got to do this. He said, because I need to make sure that it's up to me to make sure that you're okay, and I got to feel. I said, you know what? No, you don't. I took my paperwork. He said, what are you doing? You can't leave. I said, yes, I can. I went straight to HR and told them, and you know what they said? They've had this problem from him before. I said, let me tell you, I was raised by a nurse. I said, I didn't even know what she was talking about when she taught me what a God complex is. She said, whenever a doctor tells you something, you get a second opinion.
You're or third or fourth.
Yes.
Because honestly, Boogie, if I would have listened, I would have been taking Lyme disease
and
meds and half dead. Exactly.
And all jacked up. No.
I am a doctor's worst patient because I will second, third, and fourth guess everything that they give to me.
My mother was a nurse for 28 years in a very reputable hospital. When she got sick, they asked her what was she allergic to. She said doctors.
I don't blame her.
That's what she said. She said, I'm allergic to doctors. And it was a lot of stuff she wouldn't let them do to her.
I don't blame them.
And
but
they would come to me, well, she has to. I said, why does she have to have this? When they couldn't explain it to me, then no, you ain't doing it to her.
But you know what? Back to, oh boy, with the God complex, I wonder if that's a Gemini man thing. That's another story. But
Look,
I gotta tell you about that one off camera.
I don't mean to say it, but out the gate, I never trust anybody who's a Gemini. You are duplicitous by nature. You just can't be trusted. I'm glad none of my children are Geminis. Because if so, I wouldn't have trusted my kid. I don't trust a Gemini just because you're Gemini. Well, it might be short-sighted. It might be closed-minded, but they're usually...
I tell you one thing, Boogie. I will never date another Gemini as long as I live. I was walking up the block with my cousin. We were going to get some stuff to go on a trip to Disney World. Dude jumped out the UPS with just a friendly and you bad, da all of this, right? Mm-hmm. Good looking. We vibing, we talking, everything. He said 2 days. I'm about to go up to the studio because this is my day job, this UPS gig. I'm going to the studio because I'm a rapper. Already, that was a black mark, and the thing that shut it down. Because I'm gonna give you, if you go into the studio because you're still working, that might be a hobby, maybe to jump off.
And maybe
you know what he said? My birthday June 10th. You know what? I kept walking. He said, "Yo, you serious?" My cousin said, "She is as serious as a heart attack. She do not mess with the Gemini man." I will tell you a story offline because this Gemini will never get another ounce of airplay on this podcast after I tell you this story. Who shared the same birthday with Trump, mind you, and they had the nerve.
I don't even know when Trump's birthday.
June 14th, and then they had the nerve to tell me yesterday about being in accountability and being a parent. Moving on, so.
I bet you this person ain't got chick nor child.
They got child.
Okay.
They may not have chick.
Okay.
But and they, speaking of accountable parents, they're not that. You met them. You already know. little big man that you call him. But anyway,
Ew.
um, but anyway, so yeah, so he has this, talking about Trump, he has this major God complex. So apparently tonight he's supposed to be fire and brimstone
Yeah,
raining down at the Hamu with Straits of Hamu.
if they don't open up the straits of whatever by a certain time, he's going to rain fire and brimstone.
I can't wait until this
I thought
happens.
only God could do that, and he's not going to do that again. He do it when it's necessary, but Trump's going to rain down fire and brimstone. I want to see that.
Me too. I can't wait.
I want to see that.
This is gonna be my must-see TV after Jeopardy.
Who you telling?
And also, we have live and right now. The TV is on, but we did cut it down because I can't think and talk and listen and you name it. We're going to the dark side of the moon. So last week, I can't remember the day, the Artemis 2 lifted. Well, was launched, and when I went to the Kennedy Space Center in 21, this was a big thing. Like we're gonna SpaceX, Artemis 2, going to the dark side of the moon. Because remember, we were told. People be laughing at me when I say this. We were told, and was it like 1970 or 72? Don't come back here. Remember that? Do not come back to this moon. When they went up there, I think it might have been Apollo 18, and they stepped foot on the moon again, they ain't go back. I wonder why. So now, today, they are actually supposed to be doing like some kind of elliptical figure 8. As we speak right now, sending pictures back from the dark side of the moon to Earth, something that has never been seen ever. But I'll tell you this much, Boogie.
You know what I'm waiting for, right? The 5 tones.
What
Yeah, I'm waiting for the 5 tones.
I'm gonna tell you what I'm waiting for, Boogie. I'm waiting for the real pictures on the dark side of the moon. Cause I guarantee you, what they're showing to us up there on TV ain't was really back.
It's not only that. Put it that way. They might show some pictures. We don't know what side it's from. How do we know? We're not up
I'm
there.
I'm telling you, because I even heard. There's something with the lost NASA tapes. And what's the guy who allegedly took the first step on the moon? Neil Armstrong.
Neil Armstrong, yeah.
Apparently, he put his foot on the moon, which really did happen.
No, it didn't.
No, it did. And he radioed back to NASA and said, "There's stuff up here." Something to that effect. And put his foot back in that ship. And then they filmed the real, that so-called one giant step for man kind of thing.
With the American flag blowing in the breeze where they said there's no air. They told us that in school, there's no air. So to this day, I still want to know how that flag was flapping in the breeze up on the moon.
Because it was the air conditioner from Paramount Studios.
Yeah.
But when he did step foot on the moon, he wasn't alone. And he sure enough got back in that ship. Or whatever, got the heck up out of there. So I'm curious, this is a major thing.
This is probably why they're just circling around the other side. They're trying to take video to see if they see any life.
Well, what are you circling for? You've been there, go back. Why are you scared to go to the moon?
Y'all go all that way, they're just going to ride around it. That's like going all the way to Disney World. You drive to Disney World, then you just circle the park and come back home.
Yeah, I think I saw Cinderella's castle.
I think I saw the castle. You didn't see, you ain't participate.
That is true.
Maybe they're afraid to land again. You never
It's
know.
a reason you're not going up there.
Put it this way. They'll go up there before they'll go under the ocean, because they went under the ocean and something scared them
And pulled
so
them backwards.
bad.
I tell you
They
that
never
one.
went down there again. How come only 5% of the ocean has been explored?
That they're telling us.
They explored more, but when you went down there, the marine life made you go back. And I think that's what that movie, The Abyss was about.
Yes.
I really enjoyed that movie.
But I heard The Abyss is very close to what happened, because a lot of directors, movie directors, they a lot of times they get sent information
I was about to
for a
say
script, just like the Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
that had
Steven
already
Spielberg
happened.
had some information, allegedly, that's what they're saying, that was sent to him about, I think it was Project Aquarius, if I'm not mistaken, when the planetary exchange, when apparently 12 military people went to Planet Serpo in exchange for Ebens, if you remember.
There's a show. I was watching it this morning and they were talking about the Greys. It comes on about 5 o'clock in the morning. It's something files.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Yes.
They was talking about the
UFO
Greys,
uncensored files or something like that.
They done opened up these files and they're reading everything now. So with this here, what was I going to say? I believe, like I say, they're circling around to see if they can see anything because evidently they went up there and there was something there.
I told you they were trying to go back.
Okay, what I was about to say is the movies that they make, they say if it was an old saying, if you see it in the movie, it's already happened. Just like I saw my first movie. Oh God, this is gonna show my age, and I bet if anybody remembers this movie, please let us know. It's an old movie called Dark Town Strutters. The dramatics was in it in the cage, singing "What You See Is What You Get" is an old black exploitation movie, and it was about cloning. And this was in the 70s. So ain't nothing new. They knew about cloning, and they've been cloning since the 70s, but they've been cloning animals.
That they telling us. But
Well, we got some human clones too now.
But you know what they say, right? Sci-fi today is reality tomorrow.
And they say if you see it on a movie or in sci-fi, it's already happened. They already know about this, but it hasn't been released yet.
The other day I asked the A lady, I said, because we were talking about, the Jetsons and Orbit City, and that the Jetsons was in the year 2000. 2000!
And we passed that.
And I said, what was on the Jetsons, which, what came out in the 1960s, what was on the Jetsons, and what was on the Jetsons that we have today?
The Visiphone.
And she said FaceTime,
the
smart homes, the flying car.
No, we don't have no flying cars.
They are working on it.
They have
the hover things.
We're not driving flying cars, so you gotta leave that off the table. We don't have.
That's what Alexa said though. She said the smart watches.
And you know what else? The jet packs. They actually do have a jet pack that you can put in that will take you up and move you. They do have those. Now they ain't selling them to the public, but those I've seen them on TV. Something I was watching and they were showing how they work.
Well, let's move on. I just went left. I don't know what I'm talking about.
It started with this thing that's going on behind us.
So I don't know. Can you see the TV? Because I cannot see the TV from here.
I can see it, but I can see if something blow up. I'm just watching to see if anything goes left.
I'm not even gonna lie. The day when when they did the big launch last Wednesday,
I was in the chair.
I was praying that thing didn't blow up.
And I'm sitting there and I'm all clenched up. My shoulders is up and I'm clenched. When it took over, they said 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'm like, and I did not unclench. The first time I unclenched is when the booster came off. I said, okay. And the last time the booster didn't get to come off, and that's what helped ruin that ship.
What you mean, the Challenger or the Columbia?
The Challenger, the one that Kristen McCulloch was on.
That was on the Challenger, yeah.
Yes. And that's what bothered me about it, because students all over the world was
watching it. I was in the 6th grade.
I watched it I'm on TV watching it. That was devastating. She voice, but I ain't moving. That's kind of devastating for children to see that this can happen. I want to be an astronaut. Yeah. Then they see that like, I don't want to be an astronaut.
You want to hear something crazy? One of my classmates' uncle was Ronald McNair. And that's why we had the TV in. This was a big thing. Ronald McNair, da-da-da-da. And at first, we're like in our 11-year-old brains, we're thinking, is this what's supposed to be happening?
That ain't true.
And I remember this like yesterday, and he was sitting there stuck. Like, he was confused too. And then my teacher,
turn the TV,
Miss Steinberg, she got up and clicked. We're like, wait, what happened? And she didn't know what to say. And then, we started hearing more information.
She was stuck too.
And then he just started crying. Like, we all knew something went left.
Wrong. Yeah.
And then, he got the call and someone came and picked him up.
But yeah, I was standing in my bedroom watching it. And when that thing blew up, I was like, that ain't true. I couldn't believe it myself. It's like your mind will not conceive what your eyes are seeing because you don't want to see that. It's like too weird, something you never thought you would see. It was too real.
And they got a great memorial at the Kennedy Space Center with Columbia, which happened in '08. I was sitting right on this sofa, me and he who must not be named, Mr. June 14th, and we was like, yo, like we would just stop.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't clenched, I was hyped, and then when they blast off, I just pumped my foot like, yes, I really was. Kind of crazy.
I think I was on too much.
But even crazier than that,
I think that's why I was clenched.
one of my peoples that was actually live, there. He was like, yo, that I never seen, like, he lives in the area, so he's seen a lot of launches, but. He said this was on another level. Like, this was unreal.
We wasn't supposed to see.
Yeah, let's hope it goes well. Rooting for you guys.
Outside of it being sad, you should have. It was like when you see something you never saw. I got to watch Mount Etna, a volcano, and I'm looking at it, and first smoke started coming out, then fire shot out. I lost my blank. Yes, I did, but I got it all on videotape. I did get it all on video. I'm hollering and screaming because girl from Harlem, and you don't see volcanoes exploding every day, and she exploded where it was still safe where we were, because a couple of months later, I think it was last year, it was on the news. Mount Etna had blown her stack. We would have been hurt, and because of where it is, it's actually how that land was made. It was in oh my God, Italy. What's the place I went to, Rashida?
You went to the Mediterranean.
Yeah,
let's just go with that.
Greece, Santorini. It's made up of volcano explosions from under the ground. They have a lot of volcanoes under the ground there. The man, I said, so it can happen any minute. I said, like, now? He said, yeah. I said, oh, I would love to see that. But every time there's another explosion, it expands Greece in the Santorini area too, because like Greece is, let's say it's this big now. We get a couple of volcano eruptions over the year, then it's that big. It keeps expanding because of the volcanoes. It's like when they have a hot, the beach is warm. You put your feet in it and it's warm. It was, and then the sand. They tell you when you go there. We was on a black beach.
Oh, nice.
They said, I seen a black beach, a red beach, and a white beach all in the same day in Greece. Then he told us to take our shoes off. He said, there's so many minerals in the sand. He said, watch what it do to your feet. I took my shoes off. Of course, I'm going to listen. Me walking around in the sand. I think almost 2 months after, my feet still felt like I just got out of the chair.
Girl, I would have wanted to take some home.
I wanted to, but you know what I did? When it's also the same thing in the Dead Sea. It's why you float, because of all the minerals. I went to the bottom and I took 3 stones and I brought them home. Somebody stole one of them because they knew what it was. That hurt me. Somebody came in and they knew what it was. What is these? They knew what they were. But I wrapped them in cellophane.
That's why I don't let people in my house.
In the clear paper, because I noticed over the years they started getting smaller because they're supposed to be under the water. But when you get out of that water, for a couple of months after, your skin feels like it's
like a baby's butt.
Doctors actually, certain conditions, they have told people if you could get there and soak, it'll help your condition. If you have eczema, go soak in that Dead Sea.
Which I do. I'm scratching my leg right now.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for your skin. But you can't go there no more because of what they're doing over there.
I have to wait. I ain't even mess with no passport. But we can get to backstage BS because this sound like some good Tina knows BS.
Tina knows.
Mama Beyonce.
Mama Tina bought her supposed to be world famous gumbo to the Houston rodeo. Stop laughing, Rashida. Now, Now, I watched a couple of things on this.
How big is this pot of gumbo that you got to bring it to the entire
God
Houston
knows
rodeo?
how. But anyway,
Well, you know she's a Creole girl, right?
Okay,
Isn't she supposed to be?
Yep. Now they selling these little cups, and I seen little
cups of gumbo.
Little cup of gumbo, $25 a cup. So the first
what?
Time he got the cup, and they said, and his friend was asking him, he's tasty. He said, no, I just want to taste. He said, it look good, look rich, blah, blah, blah. So the guy starts to eating this gumbo, and he said, it tastes good. And the guy said, well, is it worth $25 for that little cup? He said, I don't know if it's worth it, but he said it did taste good. A few minutes later in the video, they show the scene. There's vomit everywhere. The guy said he threw up. Now, he wasn't the only one. There were a bunch of people that saying the gumbo made them sick. Now, we have a couple of camps saying why this gumbo made people sick. Now, one camp says Tina's a witch and a lugaru.
A who?
That she may be a lugaru.
What's that?
That's a shapeshifter. But they said she might be a witch. They said, now this is allegedly.
I thought a lichen what's a lichen? Isn't that like a female, like
that's a werewolf?
Oh, a werewolf human.
Yeah.
A lichen.
Now,
okay.
They said that Beyonce. This both allegedly. We must say allegedly. Allegedly, the Carters want New York and Houston locked down. They said because of the energy in these two places. This is all going back to Beyonce and their family. You know they're generational witches. You know, from the mama, the mother's mothers. You know they're
because you think people are saying this because they are, they got New Orleans roots
and the stuff that they've been doing. But anyway, then there's another camp that says, and I want to believe this camp.
How come Beyonce became a witch when she got super rich?
No,
like when she was in Destiny Child,
she was
never heard
raised.
it.
No, she was raised that way. They like the ladies. The one person said, "Y'all think Beyonce's the witch? Mama Tina's the one that taught her everything to do." She said what they call them, generational, lineage witches. They said this is in their family. They've been practicing this for years. They said they grew up like that. Certain things are initiated. They said Beyonce was initiated as a child into whatever they do. Because I'm no expert.
I heard that. Isn't she Oshun? She worships Oshun, right?
That's part of it. But then there's also a dark half. You know,
because isn't Oshun for fertility, right? Or something like that?
I don't
know.
The
Yoruba?
It's not only that, because I did go down the rabbit hole a little bit, but that's not only what it's for, but she's supposed to more to seem like she's all pure and light, but there is a dark side to it.
Mm-hmm.
And Mama Tina, they say, supposed to be dark side. Now, this girl is the one I want to believe. She's a girl from New Orleans, and she said this, and this makes sense to me as a cook. She said, traditionally, even in New Orleans, some people do, but most people make gumbo in the coolest seasons because the roux will spoil. Now, I just watched my daughter make the roux.
They should have had my gumbo. My gumbo wouldn't have made, girl, you got to have my gumbo. I told you the ladies said I'm going to bring it.
Listen, my daughter made the gumbo. She made the fish roux. She even bought the shrimp with the head on to
yes!
make the roux.
To make your stock with your roux.
To make your
yes!
roux. And then she made the fish stock and just looking at it, like the girl from New Orleans said, she said when it comes to gumbo, soon as that pot, she said it's not like a pot of spaghetti. You can leave it on the stove all day. She said once gumbo cools down, you have to refrigerate it.
Put it
she
in
said, and anybody, a couple of people said this, anybody lined up to buy gumbo in Houston, Texas heat, making a bad decision anyway, which makes a little sense to me. But the other person, this one girl came on, she was from the islands. Oh, God, she made me laugh. She said, me not care how hungry me are, me don't care how broke me are, me not buying no food from a lugaru. I was like, wow. They done charged her with being a witch, with being a lugaru. And the one guy, he was a Christian. He said he would never bought anything from her to eat. He just about that she's supposed to be so evil. He said all she needed to do was put one piece of her hair in that stuff and do her little spell, and she'll have all these people. I was like, wow. It was just funny.
But you know what I'm hearing? First of all, what everybody said, no, by no means. But you know what? Anybody, I got so much I want to say.
But you know, one guy made a good point.
I want to say something about the gumbo. I want to say something about being a witch. And I want to say something about the whole nose Black Hollywood, hip hop, yada yada, like whatever. So with the gumbo, the person did whoever said you gotta refrigerate your gumbo right after, because if you're doing your roux right, you're using like the fresh
Yes.
stuff.
And can you see a pot of gumbo out in Houston?
First of all, I won't even mess with that.
I
Right?
would, if it wasn't in a truck where you could feel the chill coming out the truck. You have to.
But I
watch
tell you
what
this much
eat.
too. When I went to New Orleans last year, you didn't see me messing with gumbo. You know when I ate gumbo, my last day of when we was trying to get up out of New Orleans, my last day, and I had to go to the hood. I specifically asked the lady at our hotel, because you know what she was. She was us. I said, yo, I'm tired of all of this
Bullcrappy food.
Their food. I said, you know, they had the nerve to put mozzarella cheese in the grits down there in the ruby slipper, so she was dying.
You got to be kidding.
And she said, I said, I need like real gumbo. I'm not going to waste my time messing with the gumbo. She told me where to go. Some spot down in the hood of the
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, it wasn't, if you remember that day when we left New Orleans, it wasn't hot. It was cool that day.
It was.
I had me some banana pudding down in the hood, a gumbo, and I had the hurricane, a real hurricane.
That's what you see when me and Jessica, my daughter, was down there. We ate a lot out of the French Quarter.
You gotta eat away from the French Quarters, yeah. And the food was like, this was real deal gumbo. Andouille sausage, all of that, right? This is like a seafood chicken gumbo thing. And the kids, you gotta refrigerate your gumbo. You can't just be sitting out there. I ain't paying no $25 for no gumbo anyway.
Cup of gumbo,
Because Tina knows made it.
That's what the guy said. He said, y'all, you need to watch what you eat. He said, you're so busy trying to be close to Beyonce by buying something from her mother. All y'all was getting sick. And a lot of people got sick.
And also, and I asked about the volume of how much gumbo, because you're saying the Houston rodeo, right? I'm thinking, especially if you're saying Tina knows mama making it, I'm thinking just thousands and thousands of people. Like, after a while, it's hard to control your gumbo. You cook. Your real...
I'm picturing a big old cauldron.
That's what I'm thinking, a cauldron, you know, no pun intended, speaking of the witch. But because you cook, certain things to me are made with love. You can't just jump up and make gumbo. You gotta be in the spirit to make gumbo. Because it takes patience. You doing the wrist work with the roux, and you know, and if the roux ain't right, you gotta do it out and start over. And you know, it's a labor of love kind of thing, like baking a cake from scratch, like making a good pot of chili, Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas dinner, you know, a good thing of mac and cheese. You can't just show up with big homemade mac and cheese for the whole Houston rodeo. Or a homemade pot of chili for the Houston rodeo. That whole part. Now, the thing with the witch, I don't know about, because I've been accused of being a witch too. And there are some people that think that I'm out here working a root on them. No, karma's a mother. And I'm looking into the camera when I say we get what we put out.
You damn
and
sure
I
do.
say this because now we do have the ability to change our environment based on actions and deeds and doing. You know, you ever heard them say boogie thoughts and deeds? So if you think it and you believe this, it already happened. So yeah, I've had people that went around here trying to work a root on me, and I know it. And I'm saying, okay, I get it. A root was working. Because one day I spent $2,000 trying to get a root off for me. It's if I knew better. I was down in the...
Ago?
Huh?
Who'd you pay to do this? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this was the thing. I had it. This is when I had it to play with it. Years ago. Years before I even knew better. And when I knew how about truly unlocking and harnessing power, I'm looking around like, yo, that was stupid. Because the lady had me burning a candle and all kinds of foolishness. And that is black magic. Like, that's black magic. But, and mind you, I don't know whether the root was lifted or not, because I've had my good days and I've had my bad days. But the thing is, a lot of these Hollywood people, they're out there practicing Ifa now. You've heard of the Ifa? So I think from what I know, this offshoot of this Yoruba religion, and I'm even hearing from people who are real Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, people who are from the motherland. They're saying nobody in Africa practice Ifa. Like this is some homemade Black American bullcrap. Like this is not even a real religion, and people are out here playing with
they going
deities.
F-A-F-O.
Yeah, playing with deities.
With deities and what
like Oshun and Shango and I know Beyonce, you're out there messing with Oshun. And
she said in one of her songs she said she was Oshun.
Yeah, and that's and I'm hearing from people that's not what you do. Like that's not what you do.
But
so
see, whatever she's doing, she know what she's doing because she's been raised that way. But all of these people, like the people they read these spells on YouTube.
What do you mean?
A lot of people, okay, let's just...
That's a channel I'll be clicking off because you got to be careful with somebody standing up reading a spell.
No, I ain't listening to no spells. But they're teaching them how to cast love spells and other things on men. And they're doing it and they're F-A-F-O-ing. Because some of these practices, like the white woman, it was a white woman called herself a witch. And I think she said that she was going to do this and she was going to call Papa Legba.
Who's that?
Papa Legba is supposed to be he's at the crossroads of death.
Okay.
Okay. She's supposed to be calling Papa Legba, blah, 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 blah. They've been watching too much of that show that was on TV that got them all twisted. So somebody told her, you cannot do that. These are initiated practices. And she said, you're a white woman and this is African spirits that you're trying to get to do something to her black lover. She wanted to hurt him. So when they found her, she was dead in her tub. They said, she said she could do anything she wanted, blah, 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 blah. But it's just like, okay, if you want to do a love spell and you're stupid and you want to do a love spell, you go on the internet and you pick the honey jar and you black and you go do that. That's going to backfire. It's going to backfire. It's a love spell.
Clearly, I'm not a witch, everybody. I don't know none of this stuff.
I do a lot of reading. I don't know nothing about it either. But if you do a honey jar, like me or Rashida do something like that, it ain't going to work. Love spells don't work anyway because you cannot take someone's free will. You cannot do that. But we're not supposed to do that. First of all, that's Mexican.
Like the panty soup.
Now see the Jamaican girl, she'll do panty soup, but at least she's in her culture, because see, some of these practices are closed and they're initiated by initiation only. You can't be messing with stuff that you don't know nothing about or playing with a Ouija board. You get a Ouija board and you want to play with a Ouija board. My cousin did this. I almost don't like her to this day. But she pulled out a Ouija board one time, and I'm in there. She trying to get me to play with it, but as soon as she started playing with it, why the lights blink and went out? Chris gonna talk.
That was on some Bloody Mary stuff.
She said, somebody playing with the box. Go get Mama gun. I come out with a shotgun. Chris said, no, go get that. I got a handgun in my hand.
So you gonna shoot the ghost?
That's what I'm saying. Why? She said, no. She said someone was messing with the electric box on the outside of the house. So we going out there to see if somebody's on the outside of the house. But it wasn't. It was that she was doing. You can't do... Look.
I'll tell you this much.
I don't play that.
Wiccanism is a real... I know what you're going to say, so I'm going to preface this, Boogie. It's a real paganistic religion, all right? Or practice. I know people who are proud Wiccans, and I was even invited to a coven once or twice by some people. Now, did I go? No. Like, that's not my thing. I mean, my curiosity did peak where, I wonder what that's about.
That's how I know about some of these things. My curiosity, I'm going to read it, but it just amazes me what people will do.
No, I will say this much. Like Wiccanism is all about harnessing, and I can see why people do or would go around saying that I'm a witch and all this kind of stuff. No, I'm not a witch. Um, I, I, um, I do. I am a spiritualist, and I do know that people who are, and I know how to get somebody up off of me. Been there, done that. There's some people to this day that won't come around me,
What you
but
do? Freeze them.
I had to do a freeze on a couple of people.
See, I know what that stuff is, but I will never do none of
No,
it.
I had to. You stalking me with a gun? But anyway, um, the thing is, um, you harness the natural, like what's in nature. That's what true Wiccanism is about. Harnessing what's really in nature. And if we really want to look at it, like we all grew up with back to Eden. That's Wiccanism at its purest form. We're using some herb. We're using rue. We might boil up a little something. When everybody was sniffing over a steam pot during the pandemic, cutting up like the ginger. Every household had their own little specialty. The ginger, the garlic, the orange rinds, the lemon rinds, and sniffing. And you're going to those holistic measures, and you're using what's in your environment to constitute change. Some people may start meditating, like that's at its core. That's Wiccanism, because you're not or you are using. Not, there's some people that might use other manipulatives to kind of reach the spirit world. They may use like a crystal ball, or they may use candles. Now I will admit, Boogie, I did get a crystal ball. Like I will do my crystal work or whatever. But again, yeah, maybe I am a witch. Let's move on.
Yeah, you probably are. No witchy ass.
No, I am not. I'm not a witch, but I am a spiritualist. But I do know, like some people, if you don't know what you're doing, stay away from this stuff.
Don't FAFO.
Yeah, because you will find
out.
out.
The thing is, a lot of the ones that call themselves just that title, the spiritualists, some of them do stuff you don't want to be involved in, because they open up the door, and sometimes you can't get it closed. And something will come through that door. Something come through that door. It's like when people, I want to reach my mom. Let's have a seance and get a Ouija board. That thing you talking to is not your mother. It's not your mother. They come what they call trickster spirits. Yeah, they'll trick you into thinking, and you tear your whole world up.
No, you really have to. We really have to know what we're really doing out here when you are messing with that. And people who are really like serious about it, they don't get up and just keep talking about this stuff. I'm gonna tell this one quick story, because when you do, and it's true, when you open up doors, anything is liable to come through. That's why you got to keep yourself covered. I went to get some candles for Kwanzaa, red, black, and green, right? When I got them from the Botanica. Walk into the Botanica, and for those who don't know, how do you explain a Botanica? That's like it's like a root working store, like
a spiritual store. That's what they call it. They can go get candles, and you can get some other stuff out of Botanicas.
You can get a psychic reading. You can get a spell done.
They take you to the back.
I've never been to the back of a Botanica, though.
I've never been in one.
Oh, no.
I stood outside. My mother used to go get them white candles and stuff. I ain't going in there.
But I went to the Botanica, and I went to get some red, black, and green candles for Kwanzaa, right? Dude is inside the Botanica, and people will. So we're all made of light energy, right? We're all made of just light. But some people got brighter lights than others. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just
and
like
people will pick up on that if you're dark. So I walk into this store. This man see that he's talking to a true light being. His energy dark. Like I knew it from the gate. The dude starts he starts talking to me. I said, how much, because I like playing with these people's heads. How much is your readings? I'm not doing a reading for you.
Excuse me.
No, I knew why he couldn't do a reading, so I'm chuckled. I said, why? I'm not doing readings. You do readings, though. It says it on the window. I'm not doing a reading for you. I said, okay. So I'm chuckling. He turns to me. I'm with my oldest daughter, who is very, she's an old soul. You turn to my child and say, I'll do a reading for her. I said, no, you will not.
That's right.
He says, well, I said, is it that, you know who you're talking to? Like, that like, my third eye is open. That's pretty much what I said to him. He starts turning to me, starts talking to my daughter, saying, oh, you live this many years, I said, first of all, I asked you not to speak to my child. Second of all, you can't tell me about nothing that I gave birth to. Now, in the interim, I'm with R. Dot. Somehow a candle gets broken or something gets broken in the store. So R. Dot is like, I'll pay for it. And the guy said, oh, no, you could take it. We get out the store. It's a black candle.
The hell, that's why he wants you to take it.
Yes.
Probably already cursed.
Of course. And it's not like the black candle, like the skinny ones for Kwanzaa. This is the fat one, right?
The root working candle.
So I'm on the train. I'm telling my daughter, you're not bringing that candle in here. Now, they all thinking that I'm crazy, right? Long story short, we have this big back and forth thing about this black candle. I kid you not. My mother is sitting right here. She had that candle sitting up in her room. Would you believe everything went haywire around that house? To the point. And I said, this man out here trying to like get me, but I already know the real. And would you believe, to the point when we got rid of that candle and I did like a cleaning, everything got back to normal around here. So this stuff is real if you let this stuff get in your head, especially if you don't really know what you're out here doing. And I said all that to say, Boogie, that part. Thank you for that fun kiki about Tina Knowles and her root work.
Alleged.
Her rooted gumbo.
A rooted up gumbo, allegedly. You must say allegedly.
Yes. So we can get into that part. So we're all women of a certain age here, right? I want to talk about legacy. Me too, because the knees and everything else is showing. I want to talk about generativity and legacy. Generativity and legacy. Because you know what the good part is? We don't have to talk about dating and boyfriends and all this kind of, when you got the younger girls on the podcast, they trying to find themselves and...
You know what? Something just came to my mind. You said they're trying to find themselves?
Mm-hmm.
You too young to remember. This song by the Whispers came to my mind.
Which one?
Olivia the slave got this.
No, I don't know that.
She's lost and turned out. You don't remember that song?
No.
Oh yeah. That's what do. Yeah. Anyway, it made me laugh. You gonna play it and listen to it later.
Because I'm all about, just right now, I'm all about what am I, footprints. What footprints am I leaving, right? So I'm just going to ask you, if you were to close your eyes today for the final time.
Oh, Lord, don't do that to me. I ain't ready to go.
Especially after talking about root work, right?
I'm going to be like Jeremiah. I'm turning my back to the wall, and I'm going to ask God for more time. Jeremiah got 15 more years like that. No, I'm not ready to go. No time soon.
What will people say about you?
What would they say about
me? Yeah. And let's just go deep into this. What footprints do you think that you... if you look at your whole life up until now, what footprints do you think that you have left? Whose life that you really impact and touch?
Now, I can say, and you know what? And the funny thing is, sometimes I see it every other day or every other week. Mm-hmm. I have grown-ups running up on the street because I don't recognize them anymore because they're grown. Miss Stephanie. My students. I taught daycare for years. For 14, 15 years in one place. But then I was in other places as well. When I see these little kids run up, these grown people run up to the street to me and hug me, I affected them. And that makes me feel good. I have 2 girls that I have people that, when Jessica was younger, it happened, and it even happens now. I've had people come up to me in the street and tell me how nice and sweet my girls are. So if I don't need nothing else, I was able to help a bunch of little children because I still have them come up to me, grown men. You don't remember me, Miss Stephanie? Bass, baritone, hair on the face, and then when I look at them, I actually do recognize them. One, I almost tears came to my eyes because this was one of my favorites, and he moved away to Queens.
Mm-hmm.
He just happened to be in the neighborhood, coming past the center because they're going back to where they used to live, and he saw me, and this I was scared because somebody just ran up and grabbed me, and it was my little boy. Remember, I told you the little boy that wanted to beat up my husband?
No.
Yeah, little boy, 4 years old. He wanted to hurt my husband because he gave something to me. He was jealous. But if I leave nothing else behind, I left two smart, intelligent, sweet women, and a whole bunch of little kids that still remember me from being their teacher. If I don't leave nothing else behind, that's good enough for me.
This is
yeah,
go ahead.
legacy of some happy children. That'd be good for me.
You know, because I'm always thinking about this, right? So there's a because you was a psych major, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember Eric Erickson?
Yes.
Okay, so he's one of my favorite, just stage, developmental psych stage. You know, I guess therapists, for lack of a better word. And right around 50, we're looking into generativity versus stagnation. Like, what are you leaving behind for the next generation? So when you get someone that's on the panel just saying, I don't care about legacy, I'm only thinking about what I'm doing now. Oh. And because I say, listen, I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for, those that's coming behind me.
I just remember who said that.
Yeah, that's why you laughing.
Yes, I just remember.
And when you know, because people who are watching this, they know, they'll know. And I was kind of blown away when the person said that.
I was blown away by him queening out.
That was another thing. But I'm going to tell you why the person kind of wigged out, because you're a person of a certain age. And we're all in the same generation. And you should, on paper, have accomplished more, especially professionally and financially on paper. But in the reality, that's not what's going on. And then when you got this girl show up, and I was the only girl on the panel, talking about, footprints and legacies, and everybody looking at you as the so-called superstar.
Who? What?
Yeah.
Not super. Drop super, please.
Well, the star.
Yeah. C class.
And not talking about a Mercedes.
Huh?
Not talking about a Mercedes. So, this had me thinking about, what am I leaving? Like, whose life, when I close my eyes for the last time, what would they say about me? And I think that I would like to say, based on what I'm doing right now, I love what you said about the students.
Yeah, and if I leave nothing else, like I said, I'll see one today, and it always makes me feel good.
And a lot of educators will say, they say that, like, I love when my kids come back, and even me, like my kids were little kids, and now when I hear, I was going to say a name in particular, but I'm not going to say the name, because people might know this person, because they're an adult now, they're a blind adult, but to hear that this kid who had trouble, holding the spoon.
Yeah.
At the age of 4, not because he just, it was anything cognitively or neurologically wrong. He just didn't get the opportunity to hold that spoon because mommy was hovering, because he was a blind kid. And to hear, like, this kid is actually graduating college.
Yeah, that makes you feel good.
Or like what you said with your girls. Like, I love, like, my girls are 22 and soon to be 16. And, I've been blessed for the most part. Like, they're spoiled rotten. But I love to hear the women that they have turned into.
Yep.
I love to hear the fact that they can make these critical decisions. And that's, as a parent, that's all you want. Like, if I'm not here, are they going to be okay?
Recently, quick question, sidebar.
Mm-hmm.
One of my little girls, I'm gonna call her B. B was one of my favorites. Oh my God, the little chubby cherry cheeks, everything. I just love B. She grew up. Now I see. Now she used to live in the other building from me with her mom. Now she's grown and have her own place, but her mom moved into my building. And one day she was in the elevator, and I looked down at this little girl. And it's B all over again. It's her daughter. I literally welded up with tears because she's at the age that I had her mother, and she's a spitting image of her. I thought that thing touched me so bad, and I told her, "I bet your mommy teacher." She said, she started having to come for real. I said, "Yeah." I said, "Come here." I had to pick her up. And I'm just looking at her like, "Oh my God!" And her mother just smiling. She said, she was Brianna loved you." I said her name. So what? I love her mother and the whole family. But it was so nice to see Brianna has a child now, and it's just like seeing her all over again. I don't know. I'm soft like that.
So
like
I have a question. What will people say that you stood for?
I could tell you one thing. Them parents, they knew me. Some of them knew me. Some of them grew up with me. They always said, "She took care of my kids." You mean their parents? That's what you mean?
No. Like, you this is your last day, right? Mm-hmm. What would people say you stood for?
What I stood for?
Yeah, like, what do you think people would say?
I'm not gonna say I stand on business, whatever I'm doing, but the only thing they can say about me was, if she was your friend, she was your friend. If she was your enemy, you're gonna know it. And I don't know what they'll say about me.
I would want them to say, well, the one thing that I will say, I think, like you said, I think people will say that I stood on business. Like, I'm not just going to talk the talk without walking that walk. Like, I'm not going to say, hey, we got to get out in communities, people with disabilities, and not be in community. I think what people would say is that she was passionate. You know what I always say? I would like on my epitaph to say, yo, she did that. That's what I wanted to say. She did that. Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to be speaking to the MTA about subway accessibility and not being in the subways. I'm not going to be speaking about voter accessibility and not voting independently. I'm not going to talk about these menus are not accessible, and I'm not even just talking about for blind people, or this restaurant, how are my friends that use wheelchairs going to get in here if I'm not inside the restaurant? I'm not going to stand up 10 toes down and ride with you if I don't believe in your mission or your movement.
Or just sit beside you and be a yes man. No original thought. Oh, that sounds good. I agree with that.
Oh, I'm not. I'm just, and they will say, yo, she did that. She's just chock full of original thoughts and creativity. But at the same time, I want to definitely be known for my activism efforts. And I want people to know that this is what this is what I did. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you know what I can say too? I don't care what they say about me when I'm gone, because you should have said it while I was here. Give me my flowers while I'm alive.
And that's what I do.
Or give me my feedback when I'm alive. Don't wait till I leave. Oh, she was a nasty, mean bee. You should have told me that when I was here so I can handle you. But also, if you like what I do, tell me that while I'm here. Because after I'm dead, what difference does it make?
I like that.
And that's true. That is true.
I wouldn't really care what they say after I'm gone, because I'm gone.
I mean, when we go on the other side, I don't think, and this goes back to just footprints and legacy. It wouldn't matter. This is how I look at it. It wouldn't matter to me at that time. Like, what I do now matters. for them, for those like my daughters, hopefully my grandchildren one day, maybe not too soon, but my
I'm still waiting.
but you further along in the game than me. Yeah, you got a full blown professional adult. I'm still trying to get mine on that level, but what would they say about me? And that's the thing, the screaming that is driving me crazy. What would they say about me? And but I'm also doing this for just I don't care when I'm gone, but because when my soul goes into the ether, it's gone. Like I'm part of the source or the one, the light, whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, you do want to leave your footprints on for those who are behind. You do want people, and it don't have to be nothing major, like advocacy. It can just be
That'll be it.
that good pot of gumbo. Like
That we kept
that
right
mom made. Yeah, that mom knew how to put her gumbo in the refrigerator. Unlike Tina,
not
no.
serving it at the rodeo where it's 110 degrees.
Yeah, so I mean that stuff is important to me. And that's the stuff that, and Boogie, this is exactly why I'm out here doing this. This is exactly why I'm out here on this OHOV movement, because this is about just, as a woman, I think a lot of times, we get so wrapped up in the days, just the toils of being a woman. Like somebody's wife, somebody's girlfriend, somebody's mother, somebody's grandma. And then you look around, I got everybody, but who got me? You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And I was reading the study where at this age group, how divorce is so common, where women want out, not men, because they put so much time into just being somebody's ... And now that the kids are grown and, his business is built and you got this empty nest syndrome, you're looking around like,
see,
what about me? Like,
and see,
what do I have?
And you know what? Even before I got this age, I always knew that. I think I always knew it. This is why, don't get me wrong, I have my time with my girls. Sometimes me and Jessica do us by ourselves. Then it'll be me and Shantae by ourselves. Then sometimes it's me and my girls. Then sometimes it's me and my husband. But sometimes it's just me. I learned a long time ago. Do you? Because if you wait too late, then you got regrets. Oh, I wanted to do this. I never got a chance. I wanted to do that. I never got a chance. Always lived my mother used to tell me I was too spontaneous. And I didn't like that. I said, well, I don't know when I'm going to drop dead, so I want to do this now before I do. And it used to always bother her. One day, me and her was talking. I said, about going away somewhere. She said, where you want to go? I said, yeah, well, I'm whipping out the phone, getting ready to... Well, somebody, wait, you too spontaneous. I said, that's because I don't know when I'm going to die. Maybe you do. I said, but I'm going to live my life to the fullest. Because you never know when is your last day. Like you say, what do you want them to say about you? Because you never know when your last day is going to be. And
yeah, but I ain't kissing Buddy either because I want somebody to get up out of church and say something that I can't hear.
No.
Tell me now.
Yeah, tell me now how you feel. Give me flowers now.
But no, it is true. Like that empty nest syndrome is real. And then you're looking around, especially women at our age, and, they're looking around like, okay, now what? And it's funny because men at our age, especially if they're in a relationship or marriage, and you've been in a long-term thing, now they want to be faithful.
No, they comfortable. They just
now you're on your sexual decline. Now babe, I think we need to just work on us. Really?
Really?
But I'm at my sexual peak, so that ain't gonna happen. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I might want the 20-year-old down the block, whatever. But no, I do hear that this is a lot of the cause of divorce now, where these women and middle-aged women, and we're going through just changes of life, be it emotional or physical changes of life, and we're like looking at what am I doing, and when it comes to identity, it was based on, especially back in the day with our parents' age, your identity was your man or your family.
Yes, I'm glad I never thought like them.
But you're not that old. Like, you're not a baby boomer.
Yes, I am. I'm the last of the boomers. I'm the last year. Yes, I
I
am.
thought you was the last of the Gen Xers.
No, I am no Gen X. I am the
Oh.
last of the boomers.
Okay, because a lot of the baby boomers, they're on that. Well, they grew up with that, and it's okay because I'm a Gen Xer, and I honestly, if my daughters get married, that would shock me. Like, I'm just getting that Gen Zers are comfortable just being. Do you see what I'm saying?
That's because they wasn't raised seeing it. If they're not raised seeing decent relationships and decent marriages and couples that actually get along and actually love each other. I mean, at this age, you won't be pawing all over each other, but you're still a unit. They grow up to want that. But when mommy just with Del, Joe Bob, Jim Bob, this one this week, they don't know that a partnership, it can be good.
But
They
I
don't-
think that
when
they
don't-
good with partnerships.
But when they don't see positivity, you don't look for positivity. Somebody, at least grandma and grandpa had to have a decent marriage, because look at the generations now. You got the crack babies are grown up. All them crack babies that were born in the 80s. They're grown. They're my daughter's age. I remember one time my poor daughter, she
That's
said,
you
"Mommy,
millennials,
how come-"
everybody.
She said, "How come I always meet guys and they're crazy?" I said, "The first thing you need to do, baby," because my daughter was born in 87. When you meet a guy, talk about the family. Find out what mommy and daddy were doing in the 80s. If they were just partying, that's crack baby. Leave them alone. It's really sad. There's a whole... These kids that will be born now, you got your crack babies, you're going to have your meth babies, and God knows what's others out there now, some new synthetic drug. These kids don't have good role models. If mama was out there finger popping, dropping it like it's hot in the club, how did you grow up?
I'm gonna disagree with you, Boogie. I think the village is really helping. Now, I was also reading something in one of these psych mags where the Gen Zers are the children of Gen Xers and millennials. So it can go either way. So what you were saying is true. A lot of the millennials are the crack babies. Do you see what I'm saying? But then you get the Gen Xers who
babies.
are career minded and they having children a little later.
They do have a certain group, like my daughter, her friends. I like these young girls. They work, they grind. They might have, one of them got a kid, but she keeps a decent job. My daughter's friends, I can say she don't have any slouch like friends. God knows who raised them or whatever. But some of them, you are absolutely right. But sometimes people need an example.
It's just four. And I do think that the Gen Zers, I'm not gonna say that they don't have the role models. I think that their social ideologies are different. I think that they do believe in partnerships, but I don't think that they believe in social constructs. Whereas I can be I get from Gen Zers. I can be with a person, because we don't even know if they're men or women no more with the stuff. Yeah, right. So I can be with a person, and even then they don't even say the names. I could be with Stephanie. We don't even know what Stephanie subscribes to. But I'm in love with who Stephanie is, and not who Stephanie was, or how Stephanie was born, or what body she was born into. And they can have long-lasting relationships, and it's built on just that mutual respect of the person, as opposed. And I hear you chuckling, but this is the psychology behind the Gen Zers, and I'm just curious. Speaking of Eric Erickson, where they will be in the next 20 or 30 years, whether they have this thing of generativity versus stagnation. And I think though, I just answered my own question, I think it will all be the same. But I also think that based on the generation that they come from, it will look a little bit different. Like, with me, my thing is not really on some... In the interest of time, I'm going to go. Okay, let's go to... Because I can be sitting here talking about this forever. Okay, so let's go to our straight from the heart letter.
Oh Lord.
Unless you have, I know, right?
These always be real. Okay, you're gonna sit
Let's
on my feet. You're gonna sit under my feet.
I'm just gonna pull up one. Let's see. Boom. All right, let go. Okay. Let me slow this down. And everyone, please continue to have these letters come in. Is at empower at oneheartonevision.org. And I am using this off of my screen reader, so just bear with me.
I don't know. They have a key.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, here we go.
The eyes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. They're doing the bar test.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Here we go. Yo, why would that no read? Okay.
You think
Let's go.
I get you every time I sit down?
My name is Jasmine, and I'm a 34-year-old black woman living in Dallas, Texas. I work in corporate finance for a large technology company. On paper, it's the kind of job that people dream about. A good salary, strong benefits, and what is supposed to be a clear path towards leadership. But behind the polished office walls, something very different has been happening. I've worked at this company for 6 years. I have 2 degrees, consistently exceeding my performance goals. And I've even helped train several employees who were hired after me. My supervisors often praise my work ethic and say that I'm one of the most reliable people on the team. Yet somehow, those same employees that I've trained keep getting promoted before I do. The moment that I finally pushed me to write this letter happened 3 weeks ago. A management position opened up in my department. I applied immediately. My supervisor even told me privately that I was the most qualified candidate and had the leadership skills were obvious to everyone. But when the promotion announcement came out, the job went to a man who had been at the company for only 8 months. 8 months? During the team meeting, when he was introduced as our new manager, he laughed and said, "Wow, Jasmine basically trained me for this role." Everyone in the room chuckled like it was a harmless joke. Everyone except me. What makes things even harder are the constant little comments that float around the office. People touching my hair without asking. Co-workers saying things like, "Wow, you're so articulate," as if that's surprising. Clients assuming that I'm administrative staff when I'm actually part of the financial team. Last week, one coworker told me that I could come across as intimidating. When I asked what he meant, he said I'm very strong-minded. But I've watched men say the exact same thing that I say in meetings and get praised for being confident leaders. I've started to wonder if I'm imagining things, but deep down I know that I'm not. The pattern is too consistent. Now I'm torn. Part of me wants to file a formal complaint and challenge what feels like discrimination. Another part of me worries that speaking up will label me as difficult or angry and hurt my career even more. I work too hard to get here to feel invisible in a room where I'm not, where I don't belong. So my question is this: how do you confront racism in the workplace that exists or doesn't exist? Tired of smiling through it, Dallas, Texas. So the problem is you live in Texas already.
True. Black woman glass ceiling. Whoa.
Yeah.
Enough
So
said.
what you should do. So the higher up the corporate ladder you climb, and it's not just corporate ladder, just in professional spaces, especially when you're a woman. So there's 2 things going on here. You're a woman, and you're a woman of color,
And you in the wrong state.
and you're in Texas. But this does happen in New York. I get this too, Boogie. I do get this. I get that and I get told this by women, believe it or not, that I'm too aggressive as a woman. And that makes men uncomfortable. I do know that I do intimidate men. The last boss that I had, old boy, the Latin dude, I know for a fact that he was intimidated by me, even though I tried to work with him. The fact, and meanwhile, there were others around the office, women of color, that kind of played into their femininity, whatever that means. You know, you're so funny. You know, all that kind of, hair flipping and giggling and all that kind of stuff.
Gave him what he needed to fill his ego.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to underplay my intelligence for a man. And so here's the thing. This is going to happen as long as you work there. And this is going to happen as long as you move up the corporate ladder. Let me see how old she is.
Wait a minute, I got one quick.
Go ahead, you can respond.
My niece is a registered nurse with a master's now. Not just a 4-year degree. You know, she got everything she needed. She's an RN with a special, diabetes is her specialty, she told me once.
Mm-hmm.
She went to school and got all her credit in North Carolina. When she started working in the hospitals in North Carolina, they was ignoring her. They was like, oh, we need the nurse. She's like, I am the nurse. Margot is Spanish. Her last name was Romero before she married my nephew. She says she got no respect in North Carolina. It can say RN with her name. And they would look at her and say, could you go get the nurse? And she's like, I am the nurse. She said it always happened. And she said she didn't get no respect for her credentials until she came up top, until she came up north. And when she got here, they were fighting over her. Everybody wanted. She was able to name what she wanted to do. She's in Montefiore now. She works in Montefiore. But in North Carolina, no matter how much she got all of the qualifications, she said they still overlooked her because she was a Latina. My nephew, he said if it wasn't for this palm-colored man that was there and was over, they were hiring the cybersecurity, the person to be in charge of Raleigh, North Carolina International Airport. My nephew broke the glass ceiling there. He's the first black man that's in charge of their entire cybersecurity. But he said, if it wasn't for the palm-colored man that said, no, this is the best man for the job and had his back, he said he wouldn't have got it.
But here's the thing.
It's where you live sometime, how people going to treat you and respect you and your credentials, whether you're male or female.
I think I actually know that this goes on in New York also. Like I said, it has happened. It's happened to me, and it's happened to a lot of other women. It is an international thing. Women,
depending on who's hiring you, unless you get a decent human that's hiring you and is in charge of the hiring, you can get hired. But anytime you're gonna run into this.
But a lot of times, even if you get hired as a woman, you're getting paid less on a dollar, which is an atrocity. We shouldn't have to underplay our intellect, and mind you, I am far from an aggressive woman. Like Boogie, you work with me, and when I'm in the workplace, I try to get along with my coworkers. You know that.
Yeah.
Because we work here, you spend more time with people in your job than you do a lot of times with your family.
Yeah, you gave them more leeway than I would.
I'm very collaborative, and it's true. I do give people a lot of leeway. I want us to be team us. We work here. Let's make this a fun space. But because I'm also intelligent and I'm proud of my intellect, and I'm also assertive, I'm going to say, no, that's not okay. Now, the job that we worked at, thankfully, it was a gay man at the helm and a black woman, so it wasn't combative. But mark my words, if a man would have been at the helm, you would have been out of it. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that second one, too. That second one, he
was gay. I don't don't know. He was a metrosexual because he asked me on a date. So I don't know what he was out here trying to pull. But
he was more corporate minded than
he
the
was
rest
more
of them.
corporate minded. But so even every job that I go to, I will always be me, right? And this girl, she's 34 years old. And the only way I believe to get around this right now, and you just may experience this again. I have a daughter that's graduating. Hopefully, she'll be in professional space. She's super intelligent and she's kind of assertive herself, and she likes her opinions, and always stay that person. So she's gonna be dealing with this also soon. And my best advice, Jasmine, is to always stay true to self. I don't like the fact that, did she say that somebody in here touched her hair?
Yeah, they're touching her hair. It's just like when they ask you, can they touch my hair? I was like, well, when I don't wear Miss Kitty, I've had that question. Can I touch your hair? And you know what I say? No, thank you. No, thank you.
Yeah, so this is the old boy thing now. She wants to know, what does she want to know? Should she go to HR?
I think when she go to HR, she should have her letter of resignation. Do your work on the side. Get someplace else because they're going to do that to you forever. Too many people done came in and bypassed you. What do you need? The anvil to fall on your head to know that you're being targeted? What she should do is take all them skills, all them people she trained, put all of that in your resume and go someplace else.
And that's the key. Start marketing yourself. Get your portfolio together. Start marketing. Get your letter of recommendations up and start looking for another job while you have a job. Because I knew even at my last job, me and this man we can't coexist. So I started interviewing and looking for other jobs because I'm not going to play the game with you. And just so happy he beat me to the punch, but that's okay. But I still left with my dignity and my hell high. And that's the key you got to look at as a woman. And like Boogie said, there are times when she's young. You got to start your own at times. Speaking of generativity and legacy. But she's still a baby girl, so she may need a little more experience.
It's time to start now.
Start now.
Get you a team. Start a consortium. Make your own business. You don't need to work
because this man been in here for 8 months. Everybody laughing in your face, and he's gonna move ahead, and this will continue to happen.
So is the next person
until you find a way out of this. And that's the best advice that I can give, and I would give my daughter the same thing. Work on self. Start your exit package, your exit plan, and keep your mouth closed. Too often people be in the job talking too much of their business. I'm about to leave here.
Yeah,
thinking that you got a friend.
There's no friends at job, only competition.
And that's what I was about to say.
Everybody is your competition. Even the one you go to lunch with, that's not your friend. It's a co-worker and competition.
You can gain friends when you leave the job. Because when you do leave the job and they still want to keep in contact with you, then that's your friend.
That's when you made a friend.
But until then, just start working on your exit plan. Start low-key interviewing, work on your resume, cover letter, get up out of here. And on that note, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this episode. And like we like to say here at this podcast and OHOV, just because you're blind
doesn't mean you can't have vision.
All right, and that, no, we're done.
My phone before
wait.
Oh, that's going to be clipped.